Hey, it's Angela.
Hey, it's Richie here with it's bowl season now.
Bowl season.
The college games or the regular season is over. Now it's a whole bunch of bowl games for the next few weeks.
So can I just say, when I was putting stuff in an Excel sheet, and the bowl games, there were some bowls, name of bowl games, I've never heard of in my life.
There's some brand new bowl games this year. So
that doesn't say much for me.
Yeah.
But
still. And there's so many bowl games, but this is what these teams work hard for. A lot of people think there's too many bowls. I mean, there's 39 bowls, there's a lot of bowls, but these teams, these fans, they get to see their team play one more time, technically win a championship, a bowl championship of sorts. So we'll just start. We're going to do 3 different videos. This first one will be week 1 is what we're calling it. It'll be Saturday, December 15th through Saturday, December 22nd. So that will be our week 1. Then we'll do a week 2 and then a week 3. And we'll do another video for the final for the national championship game whenever that is determined. This will be our picks and a bit of a preview. So I'll break down each game. I have some stats, some players to watch out for that are close to 1,000 yards rushing or receiving. So we'll just start. Saturday, December 15th. The first game is the AutoNation Cure Bowl. It's in Orlando, Florida. The Tulane Green Wave against the Louisiana Lafayette Raging Cajuns. It's actually a big year for both these teams. If anybody has seen my picks throughout the year, Tulane, they missed by inches last year on making a bowl game on what I thought they should have made. But they were able to get that 6th win, become bowl eligible, and they're there. Louisiana had a really good year. They not only became bowl eligible, they ended up playing for the Sun Belt Championship. They lost it, but they still had a really good year. Both teams are kind of Tulane. They have a pretty decent offense. They're sort of a mix of the triple option rushing attack and a spread option kind of attack. They're more of a running team, and they take a lot of deep shots downfield, which they actually can hit on quite a bit. Oddly enough, they have a receiver close to 1,000 yards rushing, which for basically a triple option running attack, that doesn't happen. You don't normally have a 1,000-yard receiver in a running offense. But that's what they're able to do. Louisiana, they're a little more even. They pass it around. They have really good running backs. In fact, they have one guy over 1,000 yards rushing, if I remember right, and they have another guy. Louisiana has Elijah Mitchell, who's only 49 rushing yards away from 1,000, so they might have 2,000-yard rushers. Tulane themselves, they have a running back, Darius Bradwell. He's only 16 yards away from 1,000 yards rushing. And the wide receiver, Darnell Mooney, he's only 13 receiving yards away from 1,000 yards receiving. So they might very well have a 1,000-yard rusher and a 1,000-yard receiver in the same year, which is really good. All that being said, this should be a pretty good close game. Should be back and forth. I wouldn't be surprised if it's kind of high scoring, maybe in like 31-28 kind of range. I'm going to go give that edge to Tulane, though.
I was going to, too, since they got suckered last year. So give them.
I think they're motivated. They're in. They want to get it. All right, the next one, the New Mexico Bowl, North Texas Mean Green and the Utah State Aggies. It's interesting. The Utah State head coach, he left. He's going to Texas Tech to be their head coach. The North Texas head coach, Seth Luttrell, as of this recording, I don't think he left yet, but he's being looked at by other teams because he's a really good coach. That being said, I'm not sure how much that'll matter. Both these offenses are really, really good. Utah State is number 3 in the nation in scoring. North Texas is one of the better passing teams in the country. This should be a shootout, regardless of who's coaching. It could very well be in the 40s for each team, about so. So for, North Texas, they have a running back. Even though they're a passing team, they actually have a running back, DeAndre Torrey. He's only 58 yards away from 1,000 yards rushing. Utah State, they kind of do everything. They have a good quarterback, good receivers, and a good running back. Darwin Thompson for Utah State, he's only 49 yards away from 1,000 yards rushing himself. I would say they're about even, but I'll give that edge to Utah State. They've been potent on offense all year.
Okay, what are the colors of their jerseys?
North Texas is green. Utah State is like a purple and white. It's like a darker purple, but like a purple and white.
Alright, I'll just go North Texas for a competition.
Alright, the next bowl, the Mitsubishi Motors Las Vegas Bowl. Arizona State Sun Devils against Fresno State Bulldogs. Fresno State won the Mountain West Championship. Marcus McMarion's a really good quarterback. Keyshawn Johnson's a really good wide receiver. Arizona State's got Manuel Wilkins, who's a good quarterback. Benjamin at running back, one of the better ones in the Pac-12. They have wide receiver N'Keal Harry, who he's a top 10 draft choice. And because of that, he is skipping the bowl game, so he will not be playing.
Because of the draft choice?
Yeah, because he doesn't want to risk getting injured and lose him a lot.
Draft choice for the NFL.
Yeah. He'll probably be a top 10 pick. And if he gets injured, that could lose him a lot of money.
What's his name?
N'Keal Harry. But they do have another pretty good receiver in Frank Darby. Their offense is good. Fresno State's offense and defense are both really good. It should be a pretty even game. Let's see. Fresno State, Arizona State doesn't have anybody. So neither one, like, the yardage in terms, N'Keal Harry, the receiver, he's over 1,000 yards receiving. Their running back, Benjamin's already over 1,000 yards rushing. Keyshawn Johnson for Fresno is already over 1,000 receiving. I'm going to give this edge to the Fresno State. I think it would be kind of an upset because Fresno State's from one of those group of 6 schools. Arizona State's from the Pac-12, which is a Power 5 school. But I don't.
So if Fresno State wins, it'll be an upset.
Sort of. I'm not sure what the line actually is, and technically Fresno State is ranked and Arizona State's not. Fresno State's record is better, but in terms of perception, it's sort of like UCF is playing LSU, even though UCF's undefeated and LSU's 9-3. A lot of people think LSU's better because they're the talent and all that crap.
So they think Arizona's better because of
some people
whatever.
Some people might who haven't been paying attention.
All right, I'll go for upset Fresno State.
So Fresno State. All right, the next one, the Raycom Media Camellia Bowl. Georgia Southern Eagles and Eastern Michigan Eagles. Let's see here. Eastern Michigan doesn't have anybody. Georgia Southern, though, they are pretty much a straight triple option team. Their running back, Wesley Fields, he's only 41 rushing yards away from 1,000. And their quarterback, Shai Werts, he's 171 rushing yards away, which is a lot. But they are a triple option team, so their running backs could very well go for, especially the quarterback, he could very well go for that. So I added that. Basically, if they were under 200 yards away, I put them in because people have big games all the time. Or not all the time, but they potentially have a big game. This one, unfortunately, I'm not sure. Georgia Southern, they're like the number 3 rushing team in the country. Eastern Michigan, they're solid. They're not really great at anything. They're good enough to win 7, but that's about it. So
but they're in a bowl.
Yeah, but Georgia Southern's a 9-win team as well. I think Georgia Southern should win.
So Georgia Southern does that triple option that the military schools do.
Yeah, and that Georgia Tech does. It's really, really hard to stop.
Alright, I'll go for Georgia Southern.
Alright, then the final game for that Saturday, December 15th, is the R+L Carriers New Orleans Bowl. Middle Tennessee State Blue Raiders and Appalachian State Mountaineers. I expect this to be pretty high scoring. Middle Tennessee has Brent Stockstill, statistically one of the best quarterbacks ever to play. He's got all kinds of school records and CUSA records and what have you. And plus, Middle Tennessee State, they have a receiver, Ty Lee, who's 172 yards away from 1,000 receiving. That is a lot for a receiver, but they like to pass it around a lot, and he could break out. Appalachian State, they're one of the top. They won the Sun Belt Conference. Honestly, statistically, they're one of the top offenses and defenses overall in the country. Like in top 20, basically, in both, about so. This is a hard one to choose though, because Middle Tennessee State's played really well all year. I know Brent Stockstill, the quarterback, wants to go out It's his final game. He's played all 4 years. It's his senior year. He wants to go out on top.
Which one does he play for?
He plays for Middle Tennessee State. But this is a tough one. Because this is one of those things is emotion over eyeball. Like, Appalachian State, I feel, is the better team. But Middle Tennessee, they have good players. And like I said, that quarterback, this is everything. Is it for him?
Well, I go emotion, so I'll go for Middle Tennessee.
Yeah, she's going to go for Middle Tennessee. I have to... I feel like emotion only will carry them so far. Not that they can't win anyways, because, like I said, it's about even, but I'm going to go with Appalachian State in the end. All right. Then going to Tuesday, December 18th, there's one game there, the Cherry Bundy Boca Raton Bowl. UAB Blazers against Northern Illinois Huskies. UAB won the CUSA Championship. Northern Illinois had an upset, and they won the MAC Championship. UAB, their coach, Bill Clark, I felt he got stiffed. He did not win the Coach of the Year. He should have.
For UAB?
Yeah. Because of everything UAB went through, didn't have a school for a program for 2 years. Last year won 8 games, their first year back. This year was set a school record with 10 wins and won the championship. I mean, he did a great job coaching. Northern Illinois did a really good job upsetting Buffalo, who was hot all year, won the MAC championship. They got to 8 wins that way. But I'm going to go with UAB here. I think their coach is too good. Their team has been really, really good all year. So I think UAB wins. And let's see. For stats, UAB didn't have much that... They have Spencer Brown at running back, who's already over 1,000. But for Northern Illinois, they do have a running back, Trey Harbison. He's only 15 yards away from 1,000 rushing, so he should at least be able to get that.
I'll go for UAB, and I'm guessing this is down in Boca Raton.
Yeah, in Florida. All right, Wednesday, December 19th, the Frisco Bowl, DXL Frisco Bowl in Texas. San Diego State Aztecs against the Ohio Bobcats. Ohio's got a pretty good offense, a good quarterback, Nathan Rourke, who can run really, really well, pass, Poppy White at receiver, AJ Ouellette at running back, Malik Irons. San Diego State, their defense is statistically one of the best in the nation, top 5 to 10 or so. Their offense is kind of iffy. They have a good running back in Juwan Washington, who he has rushed for 870, so he's 130 away, which is kind of a lot, but he's good enough to get it, and he missed, I think, 3 or 4 games this year, and he still probably might get 1,000 yards. So if he'd played those 4 games, he'd have well over 1,000. I think he probably gets it. Ohio has a bunch of good guys. They have 3. Their running back, Malik Irons, is 169 yards away from getting 1,000, which I'm not sure he'll get, but he could. Their quarterback, Nathan Rourke, he's 184 rushing yards away from 1,000, and he's a really good rushing quarterback. Their wide receiver, Poppy White, he's only 103 receiving yards away from 1,000, which he could. That's probably the easiest one to get out of those 3, but they could all get it. This was tough for me to go with. I'm going to give the edge to San Diego State just because their defense is good.
And I am going for... What are the colors of jerseys?
San Diego State is black and red, and the other is green and white.
Green? Okay, I'll go for green and white. There's Ohio?
Yeah.
I'm going for Ohio.
All right. Thursday, December 20th, the Bad Boy Mowers Gasparilla Bowl here in Ray J at Raymond James Stadium. Marshall Thunderherd at versus South Florida Bulls. They're playing in their home stadium. Marshall, they have a pretty good offense. They won 8 games. Isaiah, I think Green is the quarterback. He's a good quarterback. Marshall, they have a receiver, Tyree Brady. He's only 86 receiving yards away from 1,000 yards. So South Florida, they started 7-0. They went down. They lost their last 5. Their quarterback play hasn't been great. They had a Jordan Cronkrite, the Florida Gator transfer. He had a good year, over 1,000 yards rushing. This will be close though, because Marshall. USF I think has a little more talent, but Marshall is still a good team. They could very well win this. I'm gonna go with USF though in the end. I think USF will finally bounce back. They'll stop their 5-game losing streak. It's a home game. Technically, it's at home.
Especially for us, we're in Tampa.
We're in Tampa. It's at Ray J where they play. So I'm going to give the edge to USF. But this should be a pretty good game. It might be kind of high scoring, kind of back and forth.
Yeah, I'm going for USF.
All right, then Friday, December 21st, the Florida International Golden Panthers and the Toledo Rockets. Let's see, Toledo... they have 3 really good receivers. Their quarterback, they kind of gone through a few different ones. Let's see. Florida International, they've had a really good year. In fact, their quarterback, James Morgan, he was a grad transfer quarterback from Bowling Green, and he set a school record with touchdown passes this year. This could be pretty high scoring. It should go back and forth. I'm going to give this edge to Florida International.
Yep, I'm going for FIU.
Yeah. Then the other Friday game for the 21st, Western Michigan Broncos. It's the famous Idaho Potato Bowl. It's at Boise's Field, the blue field. Western Michigan Broncos against the BYU Cougars. Western Michigan did a good job. Their quarterback got hurt this year, but freshman Caleb Ellaby came in and did pretty well. They have 2 good running backs, Jamari Bogan and Bellamy is the other one. I'm seeing if neither team is really close for 1,000 yards or whatever, or they've already gotten it. BYU, they're kind of a weird team. They're not especially great on offense. Their defense is pretty good. I'm going to give that edge, though, to BYU. I think they should win.
I'll go for BYU.
All right, then the final day of week 1 of the Bowls, there's, 4 games on it, I think?
The 22nd?
Yeah, Saturday, December 22nd, before Christmas. The first one is the Birmingham Bowl, Memphis Tigers at Wake Forest Demon Deacons. This could be pretty high scoring. Memphis has one of the best running backs in the nation in Darrell Henderson. He's 91 yards away from 2,000 rushing yards, actually. Brady White's a good quarterback. DeMonte Coxey at wide receiver. He's over 1,000 yards receiving. Then you got Wake Forest. Running back Kate Carney, he's only 46 rushing yards away from 1,000 yards rushing. Greg Dortch, one of the best receivers and return men in the nation. I think they'll be starting a freshman quarterback, I think Newman, but he's been playing well. This I've been going kind of back and forth with. I actually don't. Okay, I wrote all these games down and kind of.
You have way better handwriting than I do.
I ended up.
He has way better handwriting.
I ended up going with Memphis in the end here, but it could be back and forth. But I'll go with Memphis.
Just FYI.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna go for. Okay, what are the colors?
Blue, and Wake Forest is like gold and black.
Wait, is the Memphis one I thought was pretty? Or is that...
Maybe.
Alright, I'll go for Memphis.
Alright, the Lockheed Martin Armed Forces Bowl. Houston Cougars and the Army West Point Black Knights. Houston has one of the top offenses in the country in total yards and passing, but Derek King, the quarterback, isn't playing. Ed Oliver, their defensive tackle, he's not playing. He's going to be like a top 3 pick, which is actually significant because Army is a triple option team. They're like number 1 or 2 in the nation in rushing offense. And he's Ed Oliver for Houston is one of the best defensive linemen in the nation. And that's what you need to be able to stop a rushing game, a triple option. I was leaning towards Houston in this, going in before Ed Oliver decided to skip it, because he's going to skip the game. Houston actually has the running back Patrick Carr. He's 184 rushing yards away from 1,000. Wide receiver Marquez Stevenson is only 53 receiving yards away from 1,000.
So what was the name of the player that's going to skip it?
Ed Oliver.
Ed Oliver.
He's a defensive tackle.
He'll be like Houston?
Yeah, he'll be a top 3 pick.
For NFL, and that's why he's not playing.
Yeah. Okay. Then Army, like I said, the triple option team, hard to stop. I was leaning towards Houston, but the Ed Oliver one, to me, that'll make it harder for them to stop Army. I'm going to go with Army here.
I'm going for
this should be pretty... It's two diametrically opposite offenses. Houston likes to... I mean, they can run it, but they like to pass it around. They go fast tempo, whatever. They can score a lot. Army is very methodical with the option. You know, they're a typical military team. Slow and steady. But they're a 10-win team. So, but yeah, Army. So I think you're going with Army?
I'm going with Army, yeah.
All right. 2 more games for that day. Next one is the Dollar General Bowl, Buffalo Bulls and Troy Trojans. This has, the potential to be a shootout. Tyree Jackson at quarterback for Buffalo. Anthony Johnson, one of the best receivers. KJ Hamler, I think is his name. Another really good, it might be Osborne. I can't remember. But they have 2 really good receivers for Buffalo. Troy has some really good players as well. Buffalo, I mean, look at this. They have running back Jarek Patterson. He's 54 yards away from 1,000. Their other running back, Kevin Marks, he's 195. KJ Osborne is the receiver. Yeah. Running back Kevin Marks, he's 195 rushing yards away from 1,000. Anthony Johnson is 56 yards away from 1,000 receiving. And KJ Osborne is 165 yards away from 1,000 receiving. So they could very well end up with 2 1,000-yard rushers and 2 1,000-yard receivers, depending on who does what. Most likely, though, it'll be probably one of each. Troy has a really good offense. They're a 9-win team as well. This could be a shootout. I think I gave the edge in the end to Buffalo. But yeah, I ended up giving it to Buffalo, but this could go really either way.
So you gave it to Buffalo.
Yeah.
And I will do a competition in Troy.
Then the final game of that night, the Hawaii Bowl, the Hawaii Rainbow Warriors against the Louisiana Tech Bulldogs. This should be a blast. This should be a shootout. Both offenses, both passing offenses especially, are some of the best in the nation. Cole McDonald, the quarterback for Hawaii. Jamar Smith, the quarterback for Louisiana Tech. Hawaii has one of the best receivers in the nation already, and John Ursua leads the nation with 16 touchdown receptions, one of the tops in the nation in terms of receptions and receiving yards. Let's see, Hawaii, and they very well could have 3 1,000-yard receivers. One's already 1,000 over. Cedric Bird is 61 yards away, and JoJo Ward is 135 yards away. In that kind of offense, they both very well could get that. Louisiana Tech, like I said, they don't have anything on here. I think either they got 1,000 or close, or not close enough. But they can both move the ball up and down the field. This could be like a 49-45 kind of game. I really like. In the end, I'm going with Hawaii.
Alright,
Louisiana Tech, it's a long travel, all the way from Louisiana to Hawaii. So, but I mean, they'll get there a little bit earlier because they're off. So it's not like they're going there just a day before or whatever. But still.
I guess I'll go for Hawaii.
All right, so those are our first week of picks. After this week, we'll do a week 2 of picks, break everything down, preview all that stuff. And then, when the national championship game is decided, we'll do that too. So thanks for watching this, and check back in for the rest of our bowl games next week. Peace.
See you later.